Hey everyone, it is Tea Time with the Diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. Diddy is being sued left, right, left. And when someone sues you, you have a time period in which you have to respond to said allegations. So the time period for a couple of his lawsuits, it recently arose, it recently came up where he had to respond to the allegations. And it seems as if the lawsuits where he's being alleged to have art people or SA people, he's coming back with, it seems like, the same message. He recently had to answer his lawsuit with Joy Dickinson, I want to say her name was. And with that particular lawsuit, his fight back was, of course, he denied softly up front that he didn't do these things. But then within the lawsuit, he said, listen, all of the statutes that you're trying to fight in said lawsuit, you a day late and a dollar short. So he's trying to get them on a technicality and asking the judge to throw out the lawsuits with prejudice, meaning they can never come back and sue him again, because of said technicalities. And you may say, well, Diva, why does it matter? Oh, technicalities matter. That's why you need a good lawyer. Yeah, technicalities matter. That's why that Harvey Weinstein is getting another trial right now for one of his 20,000 cases that was against him. He's getting another trial off of a technicality. So when you have a lawyer that you go to and they're writing up these lawsuits for you, they better be good. They better know what they're doing. They better make sure that whatever statute they're trying to use against the person that you are accusing, it still exists, and you have the right to use said statute. And everybody, whether we believe Diddy is innocent or guilty, he has the right with his lawyer to defend himself, and that's what him and his lawyer are doing. Yes, they are. So the latest case that he wants thrown out of court is the one where the 17-year-old, or so she says, and I'll get into why I'm saying that, where the 17-year-old said that she met Harvey Pierre in Detroit, Michigan, in a club, and then he asked her, did she want to go meet Diddy? She says yes, and they get on a jet, the private jet, and they go to New York and they go to the studio, and she claims at said studio, not only did Diddy or her, but so did Harvey Pierre, and the third is selling that is not named. It's interesting that that person is not named. Many people are speculating and wondering who is this third person and why can't they be named, or does she just not know who the third person is? And that's why she's saying it was another individual, but I don't even know who that individual was. I don't know. But listen, guys, we're going to get more into this story because, first of all, I will say this. There are some things that Diddy's lawyer is saying in terms of how does she remember all the details, but yet she claims she was so drugged up. How does she remember all the details, but she doesn't quite remember if it was summer, spring, or fall when it happened to her? Something's not right. And so she's 10 toes down that she was 17 at the time, because they also, with this suit, they want to throw in the fact that Diddy, did this to a minor. But because she's not willing or doesn't remember exact dates and time frames, how can they prove that, yes, she was 17 and maybe she wasn't 18? And whether you're 17, 16, 15, 12, or whatever, no one deserves or should be barred. But if you're using and playing around with your age, it muddies the waters. It muddies the waters. So let's go ahead and get right into this case. Hold on one second. Where do I have it? Here we go. So, false and hideous claim, Diddy asked the judge to dismiss the R lawsuit. When they do these things, they use the craziest picture of him, okay? But anyway, let's continue on. So, Sean Diddy Combs has asked a federal judge to dismiss a lawsuit alleging that he and two other men drugged and R, a 17-year-old girl, in New York recording studio in 2003, claiming it a false and hideous claim that was filed too late under the law. radaronline.com has learned. So that matters. If you're using said law to sue me, the law got to be applicable. Mr. Combs and his companies categorically denied decades-old tale against him, which has caused incalculable damage to their reputations and business standing before any evidence has been presented. The following obtained by Billboard read. Plaintiff cannot allege what day or time of the year the alleged incident occurred, but miraculously remembers other salacious details despite her alleged incapacitated condition. Hold on right there, because they got a point. Let me stop presenting, and let me just present this. Now, I didn't get the update one yet, but this is, I think this is it. Yeah, this is the original filing. And if you see line 22, it says, one evening between the spring and fall of 2003, Ms. Doe was out with friends. It is not uncommon for her and her friends to frequent bars and lounges in Detroit area. Certain of Ms. Doe's friends were all connected with people in the music industry. So now we do know, do underage kids go to clubs, get in clubs? Yeah. But you said it's not uncommon for you and the friends to frequent these bars, right? I mean, so y'all was on a regular basis getting in bars underage, but that's a whole nother story within and of itself. She says in 2003, Ms. Doe was a 17-year-old 11th grader residing in the suburb of Detroit, Michigan. So this, and they're saying, because this is how they want to get him underage, right? They saying at the time, Mr. Combs was 34 years old, twice the age of Ms. Doe, and one of the most well-known and influential music artists of all time. Because what happens is, by them giving that piece of information, saying he was double her age, right? And as she was 17 at the time, and also that he was this influential figure or entertainment person in the industry, they're also trying to fight several things at one time. One, that he did this to someone underage. Two, that he had this influence over her because he was this person in the industry that was well known. But when you go back to 22, she said this happened between the spring and fall of 2003. So throughout this case, there are places where she has high level detail. And they're saying, okay, you got high level detail about other things, but you don't remember if this thing, you can't tell us an exact day of when this thing happened. You just know between the spring and the fall of 2003. So I was breaking this down with one of my subs that always comes up that I love, Felicia. And so, back in 2003, cell phones was not that heavy with the camera. Matter of fact, I want to say, to get technical, camera phones came out in 2000, but they didn't really start selling big and everybody being able to have access to them to about 2006 when I looked up the details. Now, I bring that up to go back real quick for a minute here. She submitted pictures, right? She submitted these pictures. So the idea is that these pictures cannot have been cell phone pictures like we have today in our phones, right? So these pictures had to have come from a camera phone, or not a camera phone, an actual camera. Some, way back when, for those of y'all that don't know, they had disposable cameras that you can buy in the store, and then you had to take them somewhere to be developed. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all of this because 9 times out of 10, this picture had to come from a camera or some sort like that, because it definitely wasn't a camera phone. When you develop pictures back in the day, they always had a date on the back of said pictures. Are we connected right now? So somewhere on the back of this photo that she submitted, it should have been some dates, right? So that she could have came closer to the date, even if she did remember, as to when this happened to her. So why do Diva think she's playing around with dates? I think her and the lawyer are playing around with dates because maybe she was of age when this incident happened. And connect with me, people. I'm not saying this thing is right. It's dead wrong. But the thing is, when you go to do these lawsuits, you got to have the truth and nothing but the truth. And the thing has to be airtight, because if it's not airtight, they will nitpick and stuff will get thrown out, just like with the Harvey Weinstein. So I'm saying the back of these pictures should have some date on there that could have gave her a closer idea. And remember, she said Detroit, and then she went to New York. And she said somewhere between the spring and the fall. You know, when I was talking to Felicia, we're thinking that this ain't happened somewhere in the summer, okay, because of her outfit. You know, the spring, usually in Detroit and New York, the spring is not that warm where you would probably go out clubbing. But you know, I back up a little bit, because sometimes people go out clubbing in the winter and with barely anything on. But we're taking it that this was more towards the summer, and at best maybe touching the fall, because you know sometimes in the fall it's still a little warm like the summer. But we're thinking this thing happened in the summer, right? And because of her outfit. But I want to also point out this, and now this is not me 10 toes down. This is me thinking. I feel like that behind there, and I forgot when I looked it up, I feel like he got on a Sean John sweatsuit. Now I may be putting 2110. I'm feeling like he got on a Sean John sweatsuit. And with that being said, there was a time frame in which Sean John, the clothing line. Matter of fact, I looked it up and I lost my thought process right now. Let me see. Sean John clothing line was developed when. And so when did Sean? When did Sean John? So Sean John clothing line. It says 2001, the runway show for Sean John clothing line is a broadcast live on television. 2004, the company opens its first retail store. All right, so it was started, you know, the first, they said the first runway line was in 2001, and the clothing store was first opened in 2004. Okay, she said this happened in 2003. The reason why I was bringing up that I think he has on this Sean John sweatsuit, I'm feeling like that, yes, this most likely happened to her in some way, shape, or form. But I'm feeling like they're playing with the timeline on purpose, her and her lawyers, because they want her to appear that she was 17 and not a consenting adult to get on said plane at the time, right? Because you're hitting them up with ST charges, right? Trafficking charges, not just R charges, but you're hitting up with trafficking charges. If she got on this jet, right? And if you follow my channel, you know that Roger Bonds the other day spoke about, you know, to News Nation, and he said it was not uncommon, because Diddy had access to a jet, that he would meet people and say to people, you want to come back and party with me? And then they would fly with him wherever on his jet. And then after the party or whatever they did or didn't do, he would have his assistant take the person back home on their jet. And so I bring that up to make some connection here, that so this is what Diddy did. So they would meet people, say, hey, you want to come party with us? Get on our private jet. We'll take you there. We'll fly you back home, right? But again, to go back to timelines here, I feel like her and her lawyer are not mentioning timelines, because they want all of these charges and accusations. Well, not charges, because this is a civil suit, but they want all of these accusations to stick so they can get more money. And that's why I feel they're playing around with the timeline of the day and her age, so that they can say he ST'd her because she was underage. That means sex trafficking. Because she was underage, she was only 17 at the time. She couldn't consent as an adult. So that's why I feel like they're playing around with age, because throughout this case, she highly remembers a lot of details, even though she was allegedly, we have to say allegedly, right, drugged up. She remembers a lot of details, so a lot of things. First, Diddy came in and did stuff to her. He left. Then the other guy came, did stuff to her. He left. Then another guy came, did stuff to her. He left, and she was in and out of consciousness, and she doesn't even remember how she got back home. So she remembers none of that, but she remembers a lot of other details they're saying, And then she also doesn't remember the date. But I wanted to show you this to say that back there during that time frame, pictures had to be developed. And when they were developed, they did have a date on it. Okay, so let's go back to the lawsuit here. I hope I'm bringing up the right screen. All right. So Mr. Combs and his companies, okay. So plaintiff cannot allege what day or time of year the alleged incident occurred, but miraculously remembers other salacious details despite her alleged incapacitated condition. So we talked about that. The complaint, which was originally filed in December and amended in March, comes from an unidentified woman who claimed that she was met Harvey Pierre, then the Bad Boy presidents of Bad Boy Records in Detroit. He allegedly flew her to New York on a private jet and took her to the recording studio where she was given drugs and alcohol and art by Diddy, Pierre, and another man. While the window that the New York Adult Survivors Act offered for accusers to file SA complaints after the statute of limitation has expired has closed, the lawsuit was brought under New York City Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection law, which also extends the deadline for filing. Okay, hold on one second. The lawsuit is just one of several SA claims brought against the embattled hip-hop mogul in recent months. Another woman alleged that Diddy and singer Aaron Hall sexually argued her in the 90s when she was 16, and in February, a male producer who worked on Diddy's 2023 Love album filed a $30 million sexual assault lawsuit. Diddy's properties in LA and Miami were raided by federal authorities as part of a ST investigation earlier this year. Now, they also talk about, so Diddy has denied these accusations, of course, and last month, the rapper filed a similar motion to dismiss. So this is his lawyer and his MO to dismiss another lawsuit against him brought by Joy Dickinson, who claimed that he drugged and arced her when she was a 19-year-old college student in 1991, arguing that he cannot be sued on the laws that did not exist when the alleged incident occurred. But other people did, so I'm not quite sure, where he's going with that. But he also talk about, how his lawyer mentioned that enough is enough. We're spending money on something that it doesn't need to be spent on. So his argument is, you know what? The laws don't exist that they're using. They are a day late and a dollar short with the laws. But they're also arguing that this 17-year-old seems to remember what she wants to remember, but doesn't quite remember things that would be, beneficial to remember towards this lawsuit against Diddy. Listen, guys, this is a hot mess. I don't know how this is going to pan out. We have to wait to see if the judge will do as him and his lawyer asked and dismiss it. And like I said, he's not just asking for a dismissal. He's asking for a dismissal with prejudice, meaning that she cannot ever come back and try to sue him ever again in life for this said situation. Now, her lawyer and her, they did amend the lawsuit, but as Diddy and his lawyer stated, they amended it to take out some of the salacious things that they wrote that they have no proof of. But he's saying the damage was already done to his reputation and his companies. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this case. And do you think that the judge is going to dismiss it? I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.